Hi guys, I just received this, so we're going to do the unboxing and the review of the Boifun security camera. It is Wi-Fi, so no wires, and apparently it is waterproof because of course it's an outdoor camera. It also has a solar panel and an internal battery, so no power wires to run. Full disclosure on this, I did receive this for free. And basically in return for doing a review on it. But I'm going to do this as unbiased as possible. If it's good, I will let you guys know, and you'll see the full review and the functions. And if it's bad, well, you'll see that too. All right, so let's open it up. All right, and there's packing slip. All right, so you guys can see it's the security camera Wi-Fi with mobile app control. So hopefully this is going to work well because I'm definitely looking forward to it. And you can see it gives you some of the wire-free, waterproof, pan, tilt, zoom, night vision, motion detection, two-way audio. We'll definitely be testing that. Mobile remote control and rechargeable batteries. And here's the back. Dual antennas, motion detection, 100% wire-free installation, 360-degree coverage, and 4 times digital zoom. All right, let's open it up, see what the contents are. All right, so it looks like we have a small user manual here. All right, and it is in English, so that's a plus. Not sure what this is supposed to be. Some kind of a sticker. So I don't know if that's for aiming or exactly what that is, but we'll figure that out. Looks like this is the solar panel. Guess that's why it's a solar panel. Okay, so this is off to a pretty good start. It's kind of I'm assuming that's a little cover because that would really be a very odd looking solar panel. All right, well, I'm just going to leave that on since I don't see a way to peel it off, so maybe that's just how it is. Definitely a different look. And, well, so I guess it is actually like that. I'm used to seeing like the more gloss and the actual glass, but hopefully this will work well. Assuming this is part of the mount also. Set that to the side and tuck down in here. We have the cable for it. Also tuck further down, they give you some screws and the little inserts like the drywall inserts. I will be mounting this outside, probably onto a wood, like a piece of wood that I may mount onto a telephone pole. I haven't decided exactly where it's going to go. I guess that depends on how good my signal is. This is packed in there pretty good, so I mean, I guess that's a good thing. If I can get it out. That is packed in there really tight, like too tight. It's nice to have things packaged securely, but not if you feel like you're going to break it pulling it out. All right. Yeah, that was a very, very tight fit. That probably could have been a little bit less tight. All right, well, that's the main unit. So, I mean, it actually feels, I guess this is all one piece here. So that's nice. You have your speaker. Well, so far, it seems, I mean, my overall impression in just touching it is it feels pretty sturdy. It doesn't feel like really cheap. You do have a little bit of wobble there, so we'll see how that holds up. And of course, then you have your antennas here. All right, so that pretty much concludes the unboxing, and we'll get to the setup part next. All right, guys, so I'm back from doing the setup, and I'm just going to walk you through this really briefly. Here's the manual. And the first thing it's going to tell you is scan this QR code if you want the online manual that you can save to your phone or tablet. Handy to have. I will say in this case, it's not actually needed because the setup on this was really easy. I followed the instruction manual exactly as it said, and I had no problems getting this set up, and it was a very quick process. So here it gives you all the different parts of the security camera. And then the next spot, it's actually going to tell you this QR code right here is for downloading the app on the Apple App Store. This is, of course, for the Google Play Store. So once that's done, the next step, install the micro SD card. It asks you to do that before you power it on for the first time. And I'm going to show you right here. I guess I can turn this way. All right, so right here, and you're just going to open that up, and hopefully you guys can see that on the camera. That is the slot for the micro SD card. There's a little button here. It is marked as power, and this is reset. So I'm going to go ahead and push this little plug back in. This is actually a pretty good seal. Pulls out easy enough, but it takes just a little bit to get it back in. And there we go. All right. So once your SD card is installed, the next step in the instructions is just going to tell you, put the camera and smartphone 1 to 3 feet away from your router that's, you're going to be using for the Wi-Fi. So you probably don't have to be 1 to 3 feet away, but again, I did it just in case if I had any issues, I could say, well, it wasn't me because I followed the manual exactly. I actually had no problems. Should be noted, this will only connect to a 2.4 Wi-Fi. It will not connect to a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Shouldn't be really an issue because almost every Wi-Fi router will have 2.4, but that's something you want to check before trying to hook that up. Then it gives you the connection steps. Basically tells you to turn on the camera, press and hold the reset button for 5 seconds to make sure everything's factory reset. That's always a good idea because you don't know if somebody at the factory was testing it for quality control purposes and if there was any changes they forgot to do. So I would go ahead and recommend doing that. It will tell you then to open up the app. Once you open up the app, it's actually going to tell you to turn on the camera and then do the reset. So you can either open the app first and skip these first 2 steps or do them. Of course, once you open up the app, you've already done that, so no need to do it again. It'll tell you to choose the Wi-Fi network that you're going to use, put in the password, and then connect it. Again, mine went through very quickly, had no issues at all. Once that's done, it's going to tell you to click next, and a QR code is going to appear on your phone screen. It'll ask you to point the camera here at your phone screen to make sure that it scans the QR code, and that'll complete the setup. Once that's done, and it happened very quickly, you will hear a little tone. Again, very easy to do. Mine did come up with a firmware update and asked me if I wanted to update it, which I did. That was pretty quick process. It should be noted, this cord, because one of the things that it'll tell you when you're doing the setup is to please charge the phone fully before you're using it for the first time. So this right here will just plug in right here at the very bottom, and you'll just open that up and you can see there's a charge port there. The other side is a USB-A type plug, and it should be noted this did not come with any kind of a power brick to plug in, so you will need to have one of those available just to plug this in and make sure this is charged. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to fully charge. Of course, that depends on your particular unit, how long it was sitting, a bunch of different factors, how much they charge it at the factory. Mine took, I'm not actually sure how long it took because I fell asleep while I was waiting for it to charge, but it was less than 2 hours. So, just make sure you want to have that charged up. That completes the setup on it. It was very simple to do. I did go outside and test the range on this. Now, I'm in a mobile home, so walls are probably a little bit thinner than, if you're in a house, or, potentially, I guess, even an apartment or townhomes, anything like that. So this picked up the signal from my router inside from about 130 feet away, and I still had 100% signal. I did have a little bit of a lag in viewing the video to what was on my phone screen, but I was definitely impressed with the range that this was able to move away. So going from inside of a mobile home and then a carport being in the way also, I did not have clear line of sight, and like I said, it picked it up perfectly. I am going to mount this outside, and I'll show you guys some footage from that. We are expecting some rain and potentially some thunderstorms, so that'd be a great test on whether this really holds up, how the image is going to be when it's in bad weather. Hopefully, they say it's waterproof. We're definitely going to test that. They do give you this little template, and of course that's to drill the holes right there, and that way you can mount it up with this. All right, so that pretty much concludes this part of it, and in the next section I'll show you guys some footage. Overall, it's actually pretty good. I was happy with the performance in the rain, the fact that it held up over some pretty heavy rain. The picture quality is actually pretty good as well. The PTZ, when you're controlling that from your phone, there is a little bit of a lag, and it's not super smooth, but it works well enough. So if you needed to be able to have different views and move the camera around, it's easy enough to do that using the app through your smartphone. A couple of things that I'm not real happy with. The first thing would be the sensitivity is adjustable, but apparently it only picks up people. So if you were wanting this, to use it for recording vehicles that are maybe driving onto your property or any kind of animals, things along those lines, it will not do it unless you pay for a subscription. Now, the subscription fee is pretty minimal. I believe it's something like $3 a month, which definitely isn't bad, but I feel like that should probably be included in some of the basic functions. I understand, when they have the ability to save all your recordings in a cloud, that I can definitely understand having to pay for, but to, essentially limit some of the functions unless you pay a subscription, I wasn't really happy with that. Also, when you set it to record any movement of people, the range that it captures isn't all that great. Now, granted, I'm trying to capture it within the view of the camera, but pretty far out. So, the camera view of, say, 30 feet away, it's not really picking up any movement. Even though I can see, myself walking clearly on the camera, it will not start recording that. So you have to be in a little bit closer. Now, if you're going to use this camera for, say, your driveway or your porch and focus it that way to where, you're worried about somebody, whether that's just knocking on your door and leaving any kind of, solicitation materials, flyers, that kind of thing, or if you're wanting to know when your package has arrived and make sure, you know, that you have a camera in case anybody comes up and tries to steal your package, I think it'll work just fine for that, because it's a little bit limited of a view. And, you know, if you were wanting to be able to use the pan, tilt, zoom, or the PTZ aspect of the camera to, say, go from maybe your front porch to your driveway, you know, later on at night or anything along those lines, I think it's actually a really good camera for those purposes. Again, my main issues are with the fact that it doesn't pick up vehicles or animals unless you do the subscription, and it definitely could be a little bit more sensitive. Those things may be addressed. I guess potentially they could be addressed in an update in the future. You know, whether a software or firmware update, apparently it does have that ability to do those things. But again, through the subscription. I know I've mentioned that a few times. I just, that's really probably the biggest drawback that I see with this. But overall, it seems to be a fairly well-made camera. It works well, it holds up to bad weather, and it's pretty inexpensive. So hopefully this review has helped you guys out. And, you know, if you're looking to buy a security camera and you consider this one based on the review, you know, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any other suggestions on future videos or what I could have done different, please leave those in the comments as well. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you soon.